Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So let's get started. The biggest question we wanted to ask is, why do you need to modernize? Now that's a $1,000,000 question. Why do you need to modernize your integration at all? Can you not just leave it as is? It serves your purpose today, right? Okay, so before we move on, I want to share a story. Imagine you are a CEO of a next-gen startup company called Smartware, which sells smart gadgets to tech-savvy people in the Silicon Valley. Smartware makes stylish and comfortable apparels with built-in smart gadgets designed and personalized for your customers. Your company's apparels are a hit with the celebrities, athletes, and people who attend conferences in the Silicon Valley. Now, Smartware sells to consumers and businesses alike and is expanding its base of operation. With that expansion, naturally comes IT challenges, right? So let's begin by looking at some of the systems that Smartware uses to run your business. You have Salesforce Sales Cloud for your B2B and B2C sales management, SAP Commerce for order management, Salesforce Service Cloud and Community Cloud for your support and community engagements, and finally Gmail for all your automation of emails. Now, using these systems without any serious integrations is perfectly fine, right, for a small startup like Smartware. Now, syncing data between systems could be done manually. Pulling together reports is as simple as calling people across the office or even emailing spreadsheets back and forth. Works well. However, as Smartware expands, all of that changes. It's apparent that the current processes aren't scalable. Your company needs to address this before it's too late. Now, before we dig into the requirements, let's meet some of the key players in your company. Paul. Paul is an IT systems architect with over 20 years of experience in the industry and has a broad knowledge on most of the systems you have chosen to run your show. He is a tech guru, the go-to guy in your team. His current focus is unlocking customer order information from source systems to support business requirements as Smartware skills. Next is Mary. Mary is a business process architect. She ensures your team follows agile methodologies to finish projects on time. Her focus is to unify your order fulfillment and customer order history to process and fulfill customer orders, which currently live in separate systems today. And finally, you have a ninja in the team as well. His name is Jim. He is the go-to guy for all your coding needs. He has all the hands-on knowledge on a variety of programming languages under his belt. But his focus is on mobile and web application development, including integration needs for all the mobile and web apps in your company. Now, to make the process scalable, Smartware has come up with a connected customer initiative. The latest customer data should be available and reportable by any Salesforce user in real time, including customer orders, past orders, current issues, past customer issues or cases, and customers should also be able to access this info for themselves whenever they need to log in from the customer community. Now, to meet the demand for connected data, I'm tempted to finish the project as quickly as possible. Your IT team decides to build a tightly coupled integration solution with custom code to get everything up and running. Now, since every system needs access to all of the data, everything has to be connected to everything else. So here's the solution they come up with. The leadership team finally is delighted that it's up and running so quickly and everyone is happy. Now let's look at some of the benefits of the solution. The solution in itself, as you can see, is designed for short-term needs. It was put together in a very short time. Point-to-point integrations, as you can see, everything is connected to every other thing. It can scale, however, by repetitive effort, and it is full of spaghetti code. However, bottom line, leadership is happy. But let's see how long it survives. And the story continues, right? Sales picks up, company scales and expands operations. And with easy access to customer data, your marketing team increases leads in the sales pipeline. Smartware decides to open few brick and mortar locations and deploy a street team to do the demos. You want to reinvest some of that increased revenue into the new marketing technologies as well. So you need to integrate the point of sale system, at the event management app for the street team, and a new marketing software for your marketing team. Now those three systems are highlighted in the green on your screen. I'll go back here. All right. So as the change requests pile up, Paul and Jim start falling behind on their tasks, especially because of the architecture. In the past, Paul would create some new fields and Jim could quickly change the web form or the mobile application, right, to capture new information. However, now it's not so simple. Each new database entity, as you can see, requires the custom integration code to be re-returned, retested, and deployed. Instead of hours, minor changes now take days, sometimes even weeks. The current architecture in itself isn't supporting them too well. With technical debt mounting, Paul and Mary are very concerned about the business with absolutely no tangible solution in sight. The story ends. However, let's look in summary what caused this problem. The underlying problem is the current architecture in itself. In a nutshell, it is a point-to-point as it is apparent from the picture. It has a lot of custom code. It is not easily scalable, and it is unable to support as the number of touch points increases. There is no reusability of the code. Every time a new system is introduced, you need to rewrite the whole piece. A lot of regression testing effort involved and a lot of deployment issues as you redeploy the entire new code and the old code which has been modified. I want you to take a pause and think, do you really have a liberty to hop in to a time machine, head back, and make a different choice? Well, stay tuned. Now, I want to jump back and then talk about a real classical question that IT leaders today are facing. Today, they are at the crossroads. They're asking these two fundamental questions. Should I spend time and money managing my aging legacy investments, or should I focus more on innovation, adoption of new technologies like cloud, mobile, IoT, blockchain, big data, and digital transformation? What do you think? I'll be glad to see your responses in the chat box. Let's look at what the industry has to say. According to a recent survey, over 90% of IT decision makers think legacy systems are holding their organizations back from using digital technologies to innovate or make even operational efficiencies. And over 1/3 of them believe that legacy systems are a barrier to completing IT projects. Now, does that resonate with what you're facing today? And how about the customers? The customers today expect to get an answer anytime on any channel they choose. Whether they tweet, email, chat, or call, they want instant answers, personalized services. As consumers ourselves, we are bombarded daily with new technologies that change the way we live. We have grown to expect powerful systems and functions. Now we expect these systems to work together seamlessly, right? And we expect businesses as well to deliver these functionalities faster than ever, isn't it? Now to accomplish this, businesses are also presented with a heavy problem. They have a huge number of tools to meet their customer expectations. But how do you nail down to one which fits your needs? Another big question. So what is legacy modernization anyway? What are we really talking about? For most enterprises, core data and services are the backbone of their business, which are tightly siloed within your legacy systems. Now, legacy modernization, in a nutshell, is a process of adapting these older legacy systems to support your new modern business and technology needs, i.e. the future of your business. It is an open secret nowadays to both adopt and adapt to modern technologies and platforms like cloud, big data, IoT, blockchain, etc. to stay in the competition, i.e. to stay afloat your business and to keep winning it. Another question, what is the rush? What about my legacy investments? Should I just rush in? Let's look at it. Legacy systems were created to solve the problems of the era they were invented. They were not designed and developed to support your today's digital disruption initiatives. And legacy apps cannot match today's shorter time to market demands. Your technical debt with your legacy apps, app being too fragile, and dependency on your specialized teams or impede your thought process. There's an increased maintenance cost on these legacy systems. Maintaining these apps itself burns a hole in your pocket, don't they? They also reduce your budget for innovation and net new projects, which is the innovation hub of your company. Digital transformation initiatives keep going up with shorter time to market expectations. Not only that, the number of data requests for data feeds from a legacy system keeps increasing. They in fact keep getting overwhelming as you move along. There are too many questions we have asked thus far. So what is the ideal solution? An ideal win-win solution. An ideal solution, Royal Sabre thinks, is one which serves as a strategic enabler that provides the business with long-term flexibility to meet evolving IT needs, not a one-time solution. What will be your business strategic goals from a year from now or a decade into the future? Nobody wants to keep creating new point-to-point code to endlessly keep up with the business objectives. So your solution should be able to answer these questions. Now, there are 4 goals of any ideal solution. Number 1, the solution should stay young forever. It should be able to marry the old with the new. Yesterday's new technology became today's old, and today's new tech would become tomorrow's old. You cannot prevent the aging factor. We need something that would always stay young, a future-proof architecture, and a system that supports a long-term strategy for your legacy modernization, and that works well with the applications as they turn age legacy with time. And maximize your legacy investments in a non-intrusive manner. Many organizations find it very difficult to modernize or even extend their legacy systems in a way that enables them to create an IT strategy that supports the quicker adoption of new technologies like cloud, big data, IoT, and mobile. And the third, you should be able to embrace a platform which propels your organization to the future, right? And finally, what are we trying to achieve? Stay ahead of the competition. Now let's look at the solution we're going to talk about shortly helps us achieve some of these goals. And before we go there, we want to look at some of the challenges typical IT organizations face when they start working on modernization projects. Well, what are the challenges we have seen in the past are technological pressures, right? Pressures on the budget, policies and legislations, like new policies and new regulations keep evolving now and then. PSD2, Payment Services Directive, is a very hot topic, which has been there in the market for quite some time. Differing and competing goals between different lines of businesses. Lack of clarity and agreement on an approach between the IT, the business, and the executives. Finally, a lack of long-term commitment from the business sponsors. So what is the secret sauce? How do you succeed in a modernization project? Number 1, right amount of investment at the right time for a specific period. Organizations that succeed are able to put in the required investment and sustain it over a period of time. It could be months or even years that a successful enterprise application modernization will take. Number two, organizations that succeed are willing to make changes across the organization to succeed in the cloud environment. The organizations that succeed are willing to change their architecture. They should be able to embrace a hurricane of changes across technology, development, and operational processes. And finally, they should also be able to organize a center for enablement, all right, encouraging reusability and automation. Let's jump in and look at some of the strategies for modernization which we have seen so far. Typically, when companies embark on this modernization journey, they are faced with two approaches. One is a legacy way of doing things, right? Which also has two things. One is you rip and replace everything, or you can do a point-to-point. We just saw an example of a point-to-point. Do you have a third option? Okay, well, we'll talk about it. In this slide, what we're showing here is both rip and replace and approach, or in the point-to-point approach together. You can rip and replace your older systems, and you can put in entirely new ones, wholesale, right? Or you can also enable web functionality within each of these systems through spaghetti code. Now, what are the pros and cons? In the rip and replace approach, it's very difficult to justify the time and expense necessary for the approach in itself, and for the businesses that have to pivot and adjust to changes quickly. It's very difficult to keep business operations afloat while you're replacing completely the entire legacy landscape. In the second approach, majority of your data and systems are connected to point-to-point integration, as you have seen in the story. So with every project, an organization embarks on that involves data within a legacy system. They have to write a new point-to-point code again and again in order to connect these systems and expose any relevant data. So when point-to-point is used within smaller infrastructures where only 2 to 3 teams are involved, it works really well, as we have seen in the use case we just spoke about. However, as you scale and expand, it hinders your progress. Well, do you have any third option? All right, so we do. That's a good news. So organizations do have a third option, which make legacy systems your competitive advantage by learning how to connect your legacy and your SaaS systems using API-led connectivity. Now, API-led connectivity is a disciplined approach to connect data to applications through reusable and purposeful APIs. With this approach, your APIs are designed and productized for specific purpose and play one of these roles within your each API layers. We're going to look at it shortly. You can unlock data from the systems using the system APIs. You can compose data into your process APIs, and you can deliver a niche, very specific customer experience using your experience APIs. So in this approach, it helps you connect applications, data, and devices through APIs, deliver apps that are loosely coupled and are not too tightly integrated. It provides a plug-and-play repository of assets to be used in an agile fashion. Finally, it also promotes a clear contract between your systems. It promotes reusability, discoverability, visibility of your assets, and security of your assets, and ensure it is available and it's resilient. In this slide, we are showing you a sample architecture of how API-led connectivity would look like. By exposing systems through APIs and composing or recomposing them, teams can create an API infrastructure that enables plugging data, applications, and systems. Example, Salesforce, Facebook, or even other modern apps more easily to the API-fied legacy systems. This makes retiring or even modernizing your systems much, much easier. Now, all these APIs you can see should be reusable and discoverable across different lines of businesses, readily available for business teams to to try out from a self-service portal. Now, C4E is a process, right? It's a process that facilitates this approach. More on this later. As you can see, the system APIs were used to expose data from the core assets or your legacy systems. It could be a SaaS application, your mainframe, your FTP, it could be a database, your web services, legacy systems, SAP, or even your custom applications. Process APIs are primarily concerned about orchestration of this data that's coming from system APIs. Your composable APIs, these could also be your microservices. Finally, your experience APIs, which are purpose-built APIs for applications specific to your customer, be it on mobile, web, or even desktop applications, your IoT devices, or even sensors on your connected cars and even your appliances. This is a sample application network architecture, which is an outcome of the assessment that we typically do when we start API-led connectivity design pattern. All right, so with this API infrastructure known as application network, old legacy systems can be extended through APIs, and new systems can be plugged into the network as easily as plugging in a printer. With an API-led connectivity, organizations can better realize their business initiatives, whether it is building a mobile app or improving your partner experience. Right, so system APIs handle connecting of systems such as databases or any other legacy systems such that users are insulated from your changes. Any change you make here does not impact users who are using these experience API. Now that's the beauty of this entire three-layered approach. The process APIs, as you can see, inventory API, shipment API, or even single view of the customer, or even single view of the order. Now these are process APIs. These process APIs shape data across the system APIs with the intent of modeling your business needs and processes to break down technology silos. You see, they are not tightly integrated. Now, these two APIs can even talk to one system API. There's always only one system API talking to one endpoint. Is that really recommended? Well, it depends. You can even have sometimes multiple system APIs for each endpoint. It depends on your requirement. Ideally, if you're a very smaller company like SmartGear, all they have to do is just one endpoint per legacy system and they're good to go. Finally, let's talk about the platform that helps you enable API-led connectivity, implement this futuristic design pattern, Mulesoft. I hope you have heard about Mulesoft. A quick information on Mulesoft. Mulesoft is a leader in the Gartner quadrant. Now, this is a Gartner chart from April 2019. As you can see, they're one of the leaders in this enterprise application integration space, right? EIA. Mulesoft leads the way in the integration area, as highlighted in by the green circle. Mulesoft is one of the recognized leaders in the enterprise iPaaS space. And its platform called Anypoint Platform is a combination of iPaaS, API management, and ESB technologies in one bundle. Your API platform, your Anypoint platform, combines integration and full lifecycle API management capabilities. The managed public cloud component of Anypoint platform is called the Cloud Hub. Now, Anypoint Exchange, we will talk about it in a while, is nothing but a marketplace for APIs and your integration assets to facilitate collaboration and sharing. A quick overview about the platform in itself. Anypoint platform is a complete, highly productive, and hybrid integration platform that helps create a seamless application network of data, apps, and devices using API-led connectivity approach. It can function both on-prem or even in the cloud of your choice, following the API-led connectivity design pattern. Now, this hybrid integration platform, as we said, includes iPaaS, ESB, and a unified solution for API management, design, and publishing. It involves collection of runtimes, frameworks, tools, and web applications. Tools and frameworks for building your applications, Mule runtime for running your applications and applying policies, Mule hosted It can be hosted on the cloud or even your customer hosted. It could be on-prem as well. And some web applications to help you do things which would make wonders. We'll see about them shortly. Now, these are some of the core functionality of the Anypoint platform. It has API designer that helps you design your APIs, your API specifications, or even your RAML specs, RAML fragrance, API fragrance. Flow Designer is another fantastic solution that helps you create these designs with a no coding approach. You do not have to write a single piece of code to create your integrations. Exchange, we talked about it a while ago, is a marketplace for APIs and integration assets to facilitate collaboration and sharing. It is used for sharing, discovering, and exploring all the resources needed for your integration projects, including public portals. It also gives you API console, a mocking service for testing and simulating your APIs under the API portal. It also gives you access management, right, for managing all the users to the Anypoint platform. It also gives you a runtime manager for deploying your apps either to the cloud, on the Cloud Hub, or on your on-prem environment. It also helps you manage and monitor solutions, your applications. Finally, it has a API manager, which is a gigantic tool in itself. It does a lot of things for you. With API manager, you can manage, monitor, track, measure, and even control access to your APIs. You can unlock data, monoliths, and even microservices securely with API management. You can govern access to these APIs and even control API traffic by enforcing pre-built or even custom policies. You can add or remove policies for API security, throttling, rate limiting, caching, and even identity management with no downtime at all. You can connect to LDAP, Okta, or even Mulesoft's hosted identity management to provide secure access for app developers, partners, or even internal business groups. You can also use the service mesh capability of Anypoint platform to enforce consistent security and governance across microservices, no matter where they live, from a single interface by leveraging Istio and Envoy. You can also get real-time metrics by tracking every API transaction using customizable dashboard. Now, this is all inside your API manager. This slide quickly talks about its capabilities. It can support building new APIs. It can help you modernize your B2B by extending the API-led connectivity to both B2B and EDIs. It can also help with data integration, real-time and batch. It has inherently started off as an ESB solution, but it also helps you enable your organization to develop new solutions in a manageable, reusable, and a governed way using container approach, using the Anypoint service mesh capability. A quick note on Center for Enablement, the C4E. Now let's look at how C4E is accelerating innovation through a new API operating model. As you know, the business world is changing fast thanks to factors like SaaS, mobile, cloud, and IoT. The companies want to keep up, but it's not always easy. Right? Research shows only 10% of IT projects are delivered on time and budget because of misalignment around outcomes and the long time it takes to realize any value. Now, C4E improves productivity, it decreases time to market for new products, and provides both higher quality deliverables and greater enterprise security. So what is C4E? It's a cross-functional team designed to align technology and business strategy, enable IT to become more productive, and prove the ROI for all your technology projects. And Anypoint Exchange, right? The Anypoint Exchange platform has an important role to play where all the APIs are published, right? All the APIs are published here, right? And it helps you discover and reuse these assets without reinventing the whole wheel again. So C4E is essentially a cross-functional team, typically staffed with members from central IT, line of business departments, and digital innovation teams. They are charged with productizing, publishing, and even harvesting reusable assets and best practices. They promote consumption and collaboration and help drive self-reliance while improving through feedback and metrics. Now, what are the steps to set up a center for enablement, right? Now, there are primarily 6 steps. You need to assess your organization's integration capability, right? Establish the C4E operating model accordingly. It's important to understand your organization's current integration and API capabilities, as well as the maturity of the business in terms of strategy, organization, community, governance, etc. Establish C4E operating model. If you determine your organization will adopt C4E, you must decide on the roles and responsibilities within the Center for Enablement. Define KPIs for measuring your developer engagements and productivity and consumption. You also need to build and publish foundational assets for developers and architects alike. This involves building and publishing initial set of reusable assets such as API fragments, API specs, templates, etc. You need to evangelize the C4E. In this step, the core C4E team will need to promote and evangelize C4E and the assets published and across the organization. After all, the principles of reuse and self-service that a C4E promotes will not mean much if the organization does not know how to reuse them or how to use them. Finally, driving consumption of these assets is very, very important to avoid reinventing the wheel. All right. And the last step is you need to be able to measure the KPIs for Center for Enablement. Now, so what are the benefits of doing all of this? Right? It's an exercise, it's a process in itself. So let's look at some of the benefits of a process we're talking about here. Shorter delivery cycles. All right, so it includes faster time to market, reuse and self-service, reduced project risks, on-time delivery of your integration projects, a better adherence to standards and best practices, higher quality of your deliverables. Bottom line is that with these outcomes, our customers deliver projects 3 times faster and increase team productivity by over 300% than they do with other approaches. So this is highly effective. Now let's look at some of the connectors which are available out of the box on the Anypoint platform. Now these connectors can be found on the Exchange portal in itself. But how do they help you, right? They help you connect faster with out-of-the-box assets and tools. They can connect to any endpoint 5 times faster. They leverage pre-built reusable connectors to integrate with any system or data. You can also build your own connector if you do not find it. They have given SDK. You can use any universal protocol or even transport method. Certify your connector to make it available to any customer and partner. These are some of the prominent connectors which are available on the Anypoint Exchange platform. IBM AS400, Salesforce, Amazon, Temenos, SAP, SharePoint, MongoDB, Oracle eBusiness, you name it, most of the time you would find these connectors on the platform in itself. That's not the end of it, right? Mulesoft has also given you accelerators, which enable businesses to implement critical integration use cases. Like you want to integrate with, say, Service Cloud, a specific functionality in Service Cloud, or B2C Commerce Cloud, or even Marketing Cloud, they have it all. These help you. These include production-ready pre-built APIs, connectors, implementation templates, and even architecture point of views. They also allow your IT teams to jumpstart your development, which is very important to accelerate delivery. Now, these are huge time and productivity savers. Now, these are all available on your Exchange platform, and all of them follow API-led approach, which promotes asset reuse and self-service. Now, let's look at some of the benefits of these accelerators, right? They help you reduce implementation by over 60%. Tailor customer interactions with unified real-time data, and they adopt battle-tested best practices. And these are some of the accelerator use cases which are available out of the box on the Mulesoft Anypoint Exchange. For service use cases, you have Service Cloud and OMS integration, and Service Cloud and ServiceNow Jira integrations. For commerce use cases, you have B2C Commerce Cloud and SAP integrations, and B2C Commerce Cloud and PIM integrations. Well, we have seen the problem with point-to-point and rip and replace. We have learned any API-led connectivity. Now let's revisit the story, right? We hopped on a time machine some time back to see if we can follow a different approach and see how it helps us, right? So the team learns about API-led connectivity, right? And now before they get their systems up and running, the team decides to do some research on the latest and the greatest integration best practices. Mary from the team, she's smart. She learns about Mulesoft's Anypoint platform. She learns about API-led connectivity design pattern and something called API-led connectivity, right? She explains it to the entire team. Though it requires more thoughtful design upfront, the approach itself scales with the business. She understands that. She adds, rather than connect each system individually, the API-led connectivity approach will build and organize integrations into 3 tiers of APIs, creating an application network. So they go ahead and build a solution based on the 3-tiered approach, and this is how it looks like on your right side, right? So the 3 tiers of APIs align with the respective responsibilities of Paul, Mary, and Jim. Sales and service data from Salesforce, SAP, and Gmail apps each have their own system APIs that are built by Paul. He maintains them as well, right? Now those system APIs aggregate data into the process API layer called customer order API and order fulfillment API. Now Mary is responsible for that. Finally, your experience API, your coding ninja, Jim, steps in. He creates one for mobile, one for your web app, one for your customer website, and some for your sales and service clouds as well. The team designs this application network, constructs their APIs, and delivers them. Everybody is happy. Right. So what are the benefits of this? This design, if you look at it, is designed for future flexibility. It follows the 3-layered API architecture we just talked about. It scales by reuse. All the assets are published on your Anypoint Exchange platform, and it follows the it is an application network design. It's easy to understand the different integration patterns. It is not point-to-point anymore. No major rework across the entire network each time you add a new interface. Now they have a systematic way to reuse prior work and be more productive. Finally, it's a great solution, right? A next generation system that grows with your business, and the organization has the technology to power their exponential growth. That's 1 star for their effort. Then the story continues, right? This is the sales picks up, company scales, and expands in operation. With easy access to customer data, as we have seen in the before, the marketing team wants to increases leads in the sales pipeline. Now, customers are loving your products, right? You're on cloud 9. Now, that's 2 golden stars with your new solution for you and your team. Smartware again decides to open a brick and mortar location, deploy a team app to do demos. You want to reinvest some of the increased revenue into the new marketing technologies as well. So you need to integrate the point of sale systems from storefront and event management app for your event management team, and a new marketing software for your marketing team. Right now, those are the new systems you want to integrate with this new approach. Now let's see what happens. So as the change request comes in for these new systems to be integrated, the team can easily isolate the work into small parts of the application network and divide up the responsibilities. Now, because all the infrastructure is already in place, right? They have designed a fantastic 3-layered architecture approach. 3 new integrations need to talk to specific applications. Now, that's all the requirement is all about. Now, because the infrastructure is already in place, Paul builds new databases entities without directly impacting any of the process APIs. Jim can also update and build new user interfaces without touching the process API. The point of sale system, right? The point of sale system is tied to the web API here, right? So this is the layer, web API. The new street team app is tied to your mobile API here, and the new marketing software is hooked up to the customer order API. Now, instead of major rework across the entire network each time, now they have a systematic way to reuse their prior work and be more productive. Now, all of this is on the Exchange platform anyway, so most of the work is getting reused. So Paul, Mary, and Jim put together this beautiful application network diagram, and they also implement the solution in time. They're very pleased that they took the time to thoughtfully formulate a plan. They have a system that grows with the business, and Smartware as a company has the technology to power their exponential growth. So your new architecture, it serves as a springboard to scale higher and higher, and you deliver the integration to the new application at a spectacular pace. So you beat the competition in the sales revenue, and you're truly upbeat about it. So that's 3 stars for your team. The benefits remain as is, as you have seen in the previous slide, but the end result, right, is there's absolutely no problem with this solution. It's a next generation system that supports a business as it scales, and it propels your organization to exponential growth and helps beat the competition. So the CEO, yourself, the IT directors, your managers, Paul, Jim, everybody is so happy. Now, does this story resonate with what you really wanted to achieve? Great, the best is yet to come. Just wait till the end to find out. So the next question is for those who are attending this webinar, which side of the story do you really want to be? Do you want to be on the side where Paul, Jim, and Mary are really dumbstruck after they did a quick point-to-point integration, or do you really want to be on the other side where they're happy as the company scales? Their happiness scales as well. So let us know in the chat box. So Royal Cyber as a company has done plenty of modernization, digital transformation projects, and this is in a nutshell what we recommend for those who follow API-led connectivity approach. All right. So to begin, you start with an assessment, a workshop to understand your requirements, and try to split or segregate your the entire application landscape, the new system, into these 3 tiers. Identify one system API per legacy system or system of record. You try to re-engineer your business logic into individual process level APIs with unique functionality, right? One experience API per client facing app, just like how we have seen in the picture in the previous slides. One for mobile, one for web, one for IoT. Now, this is not ideal, but this is what is recommended to start off, right? And you can try to refactor your monolith, the entire big bulky monolith, into discrete microservices. It is very essential and imperative that you establish a center for enablement and leverage the Anypoint Exchange platform, which helps you to reuse and do and self-service for the business customer, for the lines of businesses as well. You embrace DevOps and implement automation where possible. You can automate your testing and deployment. You can use the MUnit tool that comes as part of the Mulesoft Studio, and to automate your unit testing, right? And you can also automate your deployment by leveraging DevOps, by establishing CI/CD pipelines that take care of your deployments in an automated fashion. Now, finally, you should also be able to manage and secure these APIs and even the microservices that lie outside your Anypoint ecosystems from a single one-stop shop API manager, which is really powerful. Now, when all these are put together, you have a really neat and decent application network architecture where all these APIs talk to each other seamlessly without much dependency on each other, and they're also talking to the end legacy systems in the behind the scenes and to your customers over the top, and giving specific customized experience to each of your customers. Now, when things are set and happy, you can plan and decide to retire your legacy apps in a phased approach. Obviously, it requires a lot of approvals from a lot of teams and IT executives, but yes, that's the way to go. Now, what are the benefits? I mean, you've gone through a journey so far in the last 30-40 minutes. What are the benefits of doing this, right? So by adopting Anypoint platform for your API-led connectivity and legacy modernization, it has been proven that you can connect to your legacy systems 5 times faster. You can abstract your mainframes, your AS400 and other legacy systems by leveraging pre-built connectors to get the data in real time to all your web and mobile applications. You can lower your maintenance costs by up to over 66%. You can build high availability, high performance applications using API policies using the API manager, right, to meet peak workloads. You can write custom policies, or you can use the built-in policies available there. And you can deliver, very importantly, right, you can deliver your digital initiatives 4 times faster. You can unblock skill bottlenecks by rapidly granting fine-grained access to legacy systems, services, and data. Now, what are typical use cases? Where does Mulesoft as a solution jump in? It helps you in 5 different use cases for typical orchestration, and for data transformation needs, or transport protocol negotiation between your legacy transport such as file-based applications, FTP, SMTP, and the contemporary internet-based HTTP protocols. It can help you on mediation cases to support multiple interfaces, for supporting multiple versions of a service for backward compatibility, allowing multiple channels, etc. And finally, non-functional consistencies. So in legacy modernization projects, typically this can involve providing a new secure channel, including authentication and authorization for external consumers of your legacy components, right? And that are not inside your firewall. They were originally designed with only internal customers in the mind. And before we end, we want to quickly share a success story. We have done so many projects. So one of the success stories that we had is one of our customers. They are leading organization, chain store in North America, and where we were fortunate to do and implement Mulesoft for them. The challenges we have seen are their integration was point to point, as we have seen in our use case, right? So it was point to point, no reusability, no scalability, absolutely no discoverability. Many teams creating the same thing over and over again. They were not following the design pattern recommended by Mulesoft, causing a lot of code redundancy, no reusability. There was absolutely no documentation of the APIs which were created, and the architecture itself was built on a very old Mule runtime version, right, which is outdated. There are several business applications involved: CRM, ERP, marketing cloud, you name it. They have almost all the latest and greatest applications, but they were not connected in one seamless way. There was no visibility on service consumption. They did not know what is being consumed and how much, and what are they getting any chargebacks for the usage of these services. It was not flexible. Yes, they were using Mulesoft. They were not following Anypoint connectivity and API-led connectivity. The solution itself was not flexible in nature. And they also had a peculiar problem, right? They felt they were spending a lot of money on the licenses for Mulesoft. And when we jumped in, our solution was a drastic change. They started seeing benefits from day one. So what we did, we redesigned their entire architecture based on the API-led connectivity we just saw so far, which is pretty robust, supports seamless integration, scalable, and and it follows the API-led best practices. We leveraged their Exchange platform to support reusability. We established a center for enablement for the entire team and different lines of businesses. And we used API Manager for enforcing policies on all the API assets. We implemented DevOps practices and used the Anypoint Studio tools to implement automation of their testing. We also migrated their assets from Mule 3 to Mule 4, right, with the new features that come with the Mule 4. And we recommended techniques which can help them optimize the utilization of their vCodes or licenses to increase reusability of the licenses and save huge cost. And the benefits, obviously, there's a lot of cost savings with the optimization of the licenses. The customer is happy. The different lines of business were very happy the moment they saw their assets being reused across different lines of businesses. They were pretty excited about it. And all the assets are now reusable. Business users do not have to rely on their IT teams to check out the functionality of an API. They can simply hop on to the API portal and try out these APIs themselves. Well, so finally, for you to choose your journey partner, right now, this is a quick checklist that any company can use before they choose their preferred digital transformation journey partner or legacy modernization partner, right? So to ensure the success of your modernization journey, your partner should have the following capabilities. They should know how to implement cloud and API strategy. They should have experience in it, right? They should know it takes time a lot of patience and leniency on contracts, a lot of slow procurement processes. We all know how procurement works. They should have certified implementation specialists, not just somebody who has been trained and started on the project, but someone who has gone through the pain of implementing these solutions and pretty happy and pretty feels pretty confident about it. Right. So certified SMEs on Mulesoft, and it should have SMEs who can recommend which apps can be moved by when and which can be retired by when. They should be able to partner with your IT team and business teams to help you make that conscious decision, right? They should be creative and innovative in their approach. They should be able to suggest changes in processes and even people approach to help you accomplish a lot of things, right? You should be able to follow agile pattern. You should be able to follow leverage DevOps. You should be able to implement automation to speed up the delivery time to market. And they should be able to help you facilitate enablement of your existing IT staff, your resources, right? Not just deliver a solution and then walk off, but hand it off in a seamless manner so that your IT staff is able to take over the baton and run the show from there, right? And finally, they should be able to drive automation in whatever they do. And the good news is that Royal Cyber tick marks all these items perfectly and perfectly fits your bill to become your choices Mulesoft implementation or digital transformation or even legacy modernization partner, as you will find out in the next slide. So why Royal Cyber, right? Very important question. Why Royal Cyber? We do have certified Mulesoft consultants across the geography and architects who are certified on Mulesoft's integration and platform architects, developers as well, consultants across the globe. We have assets and solutions that can help you jumpstart your digital transformation, legacy modernization initiatives. Apart from Mulesoft in itself, we have deep skills in various technologies, as you have seen in the first couple of slides where Preetham was talking about our expertise in various technologies, right? Middleware, cloud, DevOps, AI, ML, you name it. We have strategic business partner relationship with top tier companies in the world, right? For the last 10, 15 years, we have been in the industry so far. We have a very strong middleware center of excellence, and we also do support and manage services. Finally, we are a global organization. We are present locally, on-site, onshore, and offshore as well. So that's all from me. Thank you.